Okay, so yeah, this is the part two of a video that I had done earlier, and it was called "Spiritual Warfare." Um, from the least expected, from the people you least expected, or from the least likely expected, something like that. But it was a part two to it, and that was talking about this guy I dated prior to me starting my spiritual awakening and going on my spiritual journey. And what I wanted to talk about was that he had like a whole lot of complaints about me, and I thought that was just really interesting because one of the problems was, oh, he said I was too old for him, and he only dated a certain type of woman, like like how do you want to say, like upper class women or something like that, and he had like model type body. That's the type of women, women he dated or whatever. And I just found that kind of funny because, like, for one, he wasn't in the best shape himself, So I'm just like looking like, oh, okay. But like as he was talking about me to other people, like people at his job, he was constantly complaining about me and saying like I was crazy and I was so weird and everything like that. And I don't know what was, weird because he was the one who, like, actually he tried to talk to me for like a month before I even agreed to go have a drink with him or anything. So he was, and what he was saying then was, I've been trying to come in here and say something to you, and you just kind of have this blank look because, basically I wasn't interested or whatever. Because, right then I was like in my own little mode. I was just in hermit mode, just kind of going about my days, just trying to make it through the day and not even think about dating or anything like that. But I just was went back to thinking about how he was complaining about me and saying that I was too old and I wasn't the type of woman he would normally date, and he likes women that the makeup and all that. So I was like, okay, if that was the issue, why did you, and this is how it came about that he was, I guess him or his family member, somebody had got waiting on me or something like that. And, when they saw that I had some kind of potential, money wise, that's why he really put, such an extra effort into, dating me and everything and trying to get my information and stuff. And, it was just, it was so weird to me because by the time we broke up and everything, and I had been done with the situation, I knew he had gotten married to someone else, and it turned out to be actually it was one of my family members, and that was just another little petty thing, And then he was still trying to, I guess, like do spells on me and stuff, and I ended up having to quit the job I was at the local convenience store because I couldn't even take dealing with him anymore. He just kept coming in there, and the one day I remember he came in there and he said something simple to me or whatever, and I just I'm like, okay, whatever. And it was like he expected me to fall at his feet or something. And I was like, what is wrong with this dude? And he was just staring. Like he wasn't facing me or anything. He just started staring across the store and was just like, I was like, what in the world? But this was before I knew, that he was doing spells and all. Even when I found out that it was him participating in that, I had known that he when he got a reading done on me and saw something in my future, whatever. And I knew he was seeing the other women. And so even when I found out that he was, either paying somebody to do spells on me and, doing spells, love spells and stuff like that itself, I still never acknowledged it. Like I didn't tell him I knew or anything. I just tried to, stay away from him because as it was, he was just like, just being near him was draining my energy, and I just didn't want to be, caught up in that. But as I was saying, he's telling, people at his job or whatever how weird I was and da da da. But yet you're constantly on your phone and looking to see if your spells are working and if I called you, if I text you or something like that, which that never happened. And besides the spells weren't working, I might have had some residual effects and like I said, some of the dream spells, that's how I realized it was him because in the dream, it was just like a picture, and I might be having a dream about something else, and then all of a sudden, it was just like a picture interjected of him, but it was always like the same picture or a picture of us like together or something like that. But it was always the same picture. And I was like, what in the world? So that's how I figured out that was him doing that because who else would have a picture of us like that? And like I said, he's doing the other weird stuff, taking pictures of me when I was sleeping and, just stuff like that, just doing the most. And I'd wake up sometimes and he'd be gone out the room. So he's probably in another room, talking to one of his other women and just crazy weird stuff like that. And even the people at his job started noticing like you keep talking about her, you said like she's weird, you don't want to be bothered with her. And then, you know, he ends up telling them that I'm such a bad person and I'm the reason why him and his now wife or whatever are breaking up, and that has nothing to do with me. And then he, at some point, he had told them that I was just a one night stand and I gave him an STD and all this stuff. Well, I don't have no STDs. You know what I mean? Now, if he's walking around sick and giving the sickness that he has to everybody, like a couple of people have gotten sick behind him. And that's why he was like, oh, it was like Thanksgiving. So he texted me something stupid like, "Oh, Thanksgiving, you booty," or some crap like that. And I was like, I just didn't, at that point, I just didn't even answer, his text messages anymore. I was like, what would make you think I'm going to deal with you anymore? The way you're acting and stuff. And so he ended up spreading the STD he had. And then he was trying to really turn around and blame it on me. That's why he was trying to get me to come back over his house or something like that. And I was like, nah, that's just not going to happen. But you just really have to be careful and use your discernment when it comes to people these days because like I said, this guy would have never thought, that he was like that. And the way he was talking down about me and what he was a clout chaser. The only reason he married this lady was because he thought she had money. So he's spending all the money he has to impress her, and she really didn't have anything either. So they're both clout chasers, acting like they're on some type of level that neither one of them are on anyway. And if he would have kept the money he had, and you know what I mean, like he probably still could have came. As a matter of fact, when me and him were dating, he was doing well. Like I was basically like your good luck charm. So you're acting like I'm doing something to you, or I'm not good enough for you, and stuff like that. Whereas really, I was the gift. If he would have stuck with me, and I did care for him. But once people show you who they are, just keep on moving because they are not playing with you, and you can't change somebody. Like because he was in the military, because he had the PTSD. I felt bad for him, and that's why I kind of tried to stick it out. Even though he was acting erratic at times, and I'd be like, oh, that's the PTSD. No, it was not. It was just how he acts. And after dealing with him for all those months, I realized that I wasn't the only one. He was doing this to other people. Like I had asked him, at some point, well, you don't have any kids because, he's in his 50s. You don't no kids and you've been in the military, like that's kind of odd to me because you've been to a lot of places, But he had kids. Just just saying anything just to not tell the truth, just doesn't make any sense. And while he did all this, like I said, some of his other family members were involved, and it's like his mother ends up double crossing him. Like there's no loyalty. I guess there's no honor among these days, but it's just a sad situation. And I'm just saying for the ones that are awakening, going through our spiritual journey and trying to be closer to God, like you just really have to, say that you not say, but you have to just let it go because the Bible says we have to love our neighbor. God wants us to love our neighbor. Like I said, it takes two to tango. He couldn't have done anything to me that I didn't allow to be done. And well, except the part after we broke up. Like this, really, this didn't even have to escalate to this degree. This could have way been over, but he just wouldn't let it go. And instead of just saying, well, I made bad choices and just move on, but he just was unwilling to do that and ended up committing fraud. Like I said, he stole the property from me and it just ended up into this big thing where now you're going to have to be facing jail time instead of you could have just been an adult and walked away. And first of all, you shouldn't have been doing tarot readings or getting readings on me anyway. Like who does stuff like that? That's why I said this. I'm sure I wasn't the first one. This is how he had gained his status and made it to the point that he had made it to in life. So it's just it's a world we live in. It's the times we live in, and we just really have to let go and let God. And that's why I decided, once it was over between us, I didn't get mad even when he kept calling me and kept texting me, and I was just like, at no point he had came into the store that I work in and just would like start an argument over nothing. And I'm just like, we're not, it doesn't even matter. Oh, I thought we were at least friends. You could have been, but yeah, we could have been if you didn't act like a nut, but now you are. And now this is why I can't deal with you anymore. So, they'll do anything to try to keep turning it. That's how manipulators are. That's how gaslighting works. They keep trying to turn everything around on you. He doesn't take responsibility. Not at no point in the relationship. Everything was always my fault. It was never his fault. He always managed to find a reason to turn everything around on me. So, that's how you got to know when there's no give and take and it's all just you. You just got to let it go, let God, and keep on smiling and go the other way, because I'm not gonna block my blessings for somebody like that and go, oh, I hate him. I wish he would just fall off. But no, for what? Hate him for what? You know, I, I'm sure he had some emotional trauma. He did have was diagnosed with the PTSD, but it seems like it's some more emotional problems deep rooted than before the PTSD even came along. Probably problems with home and stuff like that. So, like I said, we're going with God and keep on moving. Have a great day.